Oi, oi, Flat Earth British, Martinliedtke speaking. Welcome back to a special Flat Earth British, double flat thumbs to infinity. And I have some special guests who come to visit me at the Flat Earth British Hub. Don't be jealous. Let me introduce to you. Okay, the channel will be linked below, but I have mentioned it before on my blogs. Is Bex.
Hi guys.
It's Rebecca and Tash.
Hello.
Which is short for
Natasha.
Okay. I wouldn't have guessed. But it could have been Patricia.
Good, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Or it could have just been called Tash.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
Tash the Gash.
Tash the Gash.
Sorry.
It's okay. This is not the way that the blog's going to go.
Start as we need to go on.
So Bex and Tash have come here. We've been talking about all of really interesting stuff about the NCPs and the weird shit that's going down. But how I discovered them is I was basically, my mate turned me on to the book Nos Confunden, which is about outer worlds, giants, hybrids, and portals. So I went looking for the book, and your video came out.
That is bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So I sent the link to my friend. He was like, this is really good. And then I was like, well, I don't actually have to read the book now.
But that's the thing. That's kind of why we look at these books, isn't it, Tash?
But
Yes.
I wouldn't mind it for my collection. But Tasha's got the books.
Here,
Now,
literally,
this is fantastic stuff,
Wave them
guys.
around,
Check this out.
You've got these two books. Can we see those?
Yeah, it should be able to.
There's those two.
Yeah.
There's two different books there. And then there's also this one, which I haven't got as a proper book, just as a print off. And that one's called The Land of Mars.
Nos Confunden.
Yeah, so The Land of Mars, that talks about like how they think the Land of Mars is like an experimental plane.
Yes.
Where they've got people from all the different lands living there, and they experiment and try and fight them off each other, like an experiment, yeah, like an experimental place.
I think I would agree with that.
Yeah, but basically, where's the?
Have you seen this planetary alignment last night? You know, Jupiter and Mars.
No.
So I've never seen any planetary alignments in my entire life, and I've seen two major ones in the last 3 years. One in Turkey when I was there, and at the three of them, Jupiter, Venus and Mars in a line.
Yes.
And they got it now. So what's with all of these alignments with the planetary bodies? And I've never seen them before in my life.
Projection?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I actually any longer.
I don't identify planets as
Yeah.
planets because I'm a flat earth and I don't believe in space. But I am saying that there are wandering stars. And with the Hermetics, they consider these to be entities, which is what I'm thinking.
Like all the lovely
angels.
The way they move. It's very beautiful, isn't it?
They're angels, or there's some sort of entities. You ever looked
Heavenly bodies
with night vision goggles?
No,
I haven't got any.
Right?
Yeah, no, haven't got
You
any.
have the shock of your life. There is shit
Everywhere.
flying around everywhere.
Oh, have you got some?
My son has.
Oh, should we get
Should we get some?
They are
Should we go halves?
fantastic.
Yeah.
We must go halves.
You can pick them up 60 quid.
Yeah.
60
You can pick them up 60 quid on eBay.
We can do that.
We can do
Oh yeah,
that.
no, I'd like to do that.
So what is it all? Because I tell you what it ain't, and it isn't. Like another satellite fell down this morning. It was posted on Facebook. Some boys photographed it in the backyard, and it's just basically a balloon.
Yeah.
With solar panels. So they're falling, and there's this emphasis on balloons. And then Google Loom Balloons program closed down like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I saw that somewhere. And also The Wizard of Oz, at the end of The Wizard of Oz, because I watched that, which was hellish because I can't stand people singing and pretending to be things that they're not. So I found it very traumatic, but I watched it. And of course, at the end, when they reveal the curtain and reveal it's all a show, the Oz goes off in a balloon.
Yeah.
Balloons.
Yeah,
again.
so balloons are very...
And that's how we go into another dimension, through a balloon.
Through a balloon.
And she got in through a vortex, through a twister.
Yes,
That's how she
through
got
the
it.
cyclone or whatever.
So I'm
yeah.
thinking
Vortex
like
energy.
Yeah, and it's the same when in Pirates of the Caribbean films, he goes into a parallel dimension, Davy Jones's locker, through another spiral,
I've not watched any.
which
of
is
those.
a whirlpool or an eddy, which is
Vortex.
which is exactly like a twister
Yeah.
Water vortex.
in vortex. So it's like they keep telling you that these vortexes are portal, and they look like portal pictures, like you'd expect to see.
Yeah, how you'd imagine it.
They look like that.
Mm.
And I think, that could be like some sort of doorway. I definitely think that I don't think we're in the same place.
Well,
I don't think we're in the same place as before. The food is off the fuck.
What were we just saying about this food a minute ago? We've
It
got
just
this
tastes
fruit.
what?
Water.
Water. I can't even taste melanina.
No, and it's meant to be posh because it's from Twat Rose. Old posh old twat
Well,
road.
that doesn't mean that they can have any flavour just because it's facts.
Well, I think the bigger the fruit, almost the less the flavour, because it has to spread the flavour out. You two, calm down. Right, come on, collect yourselves, you two. Should I put my picture of a map up here?
Yes, please.
Just to detract. So this here is the Terra Infinita map, which is basically somebody's perception.
I have seen that one. It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
somebody's perception of this kind of great dome with lots and lots of smaller domes within the dome, which are all domed, one or two or three domes at times, and then land around the outside, which they call the unknown zone that nobody knows about. So that's what these books are based on.
And so the premise is that we are on a huge plane, in fact,
Huge.
with many firmaments.
Yes, and firmaments
many
within
domes,
firmaments.
and firmaments within
And ice
firmaments,
walls.
and ice walls. And that, well, my perception of it was when you look at the map, you've got the lands of Mars and you've got
all the things that they tell us up there.
Yeah.
Neptune.
So actually, and then when you think about the word extraterrestrial, we know it's
Extra
Terra.
lands.
Extra
Terra is
terrain.
like the extra land, the people from the extra land. So, or the beings, because they're obviously all different.
Races.
Got a question with this.
Yeah,
It's like in my head, okay, I think they were underwater.
with the firmament over the top.
I really do think there's waters above. This is why the sky is blue, because it actually looks
Reflection.
like water. I really do think that there's waters above. And plus, every theology tells us there's waters above.
And when you look
And
at
the
it,
Holy Bible.
when you look at it in those, it's like water moving
You can
over
literally,
light, isn't it?
if you look at the moon in the nights, it looks like it's being looked at through a liquid medium. It's like literally looking through water,
Plasmary.
like plasmary. So I'm wondering that if you was to look at all of these domes, would they all be at the bottom of water? Because I think
With the big dome on top and then the water
Dome.
above. Or
because
water
I
in
really
between.
do feel
But
that
possibly, I mean, it,
I know. Do you know why? Because we got maritime law on the land. The
Yeah,
whole
why?
law of this land is maritime
Yeah,
law.
why is it water?
Ah.
The
everywhere?
language is all liquid based. The
Yeah.
finance system
And-
is all liquid based. Liquid finances, liquid.
yeah.
That's 'cause we
yeah.
are.
All of it.
It is
Currency.
So we are at sea. in
Currency.
effect.
Yes, we are at sea. They're not just making us think we're at
Well,
sea.
no,
we
they tell us
actually
we're
are.
dead. They tell us we're dead.
Dead entity,
We're dead
yeah.
entities. We're corporations, apparently, according to their narrative. But we're taking sovereignty back as
Absolutely.
living souls. We are living souls. They will not take this
So
from
what-
us.
So going back to the map and portals and things like that, what that alludes to is that we have sort of direct portals here to the land
the
of
other
Mars,
lands.
to Mars. Well, Mars is one that we're very connected with as a planet.
And that was through.
Well, look at my name.
Martin.
Well, yeah, but it's Martin is also Martinus, the god of war. It's
Ah,
where my
Martinus,
it's
yeah.
Mars.
It's Mars,
It's where my
yeah.
name is derived
Yeah.
from.
And
Oh.
if you look at all of the rhetoric out there, they were talking about how we're going to go to Mars.
Yeah.
Weird.
They-
And I'm
they're
a master
obsessed
of
with it.
disaster as
They're
well.
obsessed with it.
Yeah,
weird.
they are.
But Mars has a very specific purpose.
And it's through
doesn't it?
Hyperborea, I think.
Do you know
Which is on the old maps.
the Mars footage that they show you online? That's in Devonshire Island in Cornwall. We've proved.
Yes, I've seen that somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
It's
just put like,
an-
and then they put like a
an
brown
orange,
filter.
orangey
Yeah.
filter on
Yeah.
the top.
Devon
It's
Island,
just
yeah.
ridiculous, isn't it?
It's ridiculous.
So with these books, I think it's important to sort of say that they're obviously written as stories. They're written as fiction. They're kind of, I suppose that you could say mythology, but in my opinion, mythology anyway is like memory because it's got to have come from somewhere.
That's
So-
what all this is, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
so it's
remembering.
come from memory anyway. So it's that they're written as a story, and it quite clearly states that. But I think
But-
that's to get the information
So
out.
with the hybrids, is he saying that the giants have gone back home to their pond?
Yes,
Yes.
so that's the land of Thor. Thoth.
Thoth.
The land of
moving
Thoth.
lands of
The moving lands of
See,
Thoth.
when I covered Thoth, they deleted that video, and the book that I got off of Internet Archive, which was highly illustrated with beautiful alchemical images, they deleted it. You can't
Wow.
even get it on
Can't
Internet.
even get it.
It's that I couldn't believe that I found it. It was
well,
all
wow.
like,
I think when something's taken away like that, you can be pretty sure you've
There's
hit,
truth in it.
You hit the
it
target.
was fantastic alchemical images, and all of the clues were in there. The Masonic, symbology. We were breaking it down live, and it was like, and then a day, it was like a week later, the whole thing was
Whole
gone.
thing gone.
Yeah.
But the way that this book came about is quite interesting. you asked earlier who wrote it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't really.
So, shall I read this from this?
Yeah, please.
So it actually says here, where does all the information that we present come from? So as far as I can tell, there's this guy or group of guys who are South American who have been for a period of time trying to explore whether there is a passageway.
Yes.
From Antarctica to get into these other worlds.
Yeah.
So that's who these people are. So he's saying between the years of 2016 and 2020, we have had contact with a person who began to provide us with information about supposed unknown and hidden lands so far to humanity. The contacts began following a strange link via the internet, and then other events in different places that made us realize that it was not a joke after being able to share several encounters.
Really?
Now, this is translated as well quite badly, so when I'm reading it, it sounds a bit stilted.
But what they're saying is there were synchronicities and a strange link from the internet that led them. So there's a group of them, and they were chosen. But we felt that it was clumsily put, but actually we've had that where several events have happened and it kind of leads you to exactly.
Yes, getting communication. So he's saying as they received more information, they could go on contrasting with other people who confirmed that all this was a hidden truth. Astral travel, people who reached high positions in politics and military gave their similar versions, and other continents were hidden from conventional maps, and even more so in the establishment system. Hidden books that have never been given the importance also asserted and shared the same studies. Wow. So basically, that's how it was. So they were.
And it was further confirmed by sort of ex-military and maps that they found and blah blah blah.
Yeah. So if we go to the story. So basically, the story goes there was a guy called William Norris, and he was in the Continental Navy, and there was something called the Revolutionary War in the 1800s. This is how the story goes.
Yeah.
And on their voyages, there was a captain called Cook. Cook. I can't remember his first name though. Anyway, he was called Cook, and he kept talking about crossing the Arctic Circle and getting in. And lots of time went by, and basically after the war ended, and William decided to buy a ship
after the war
to see if he could cheap ship to see if he could find the passage. And eventually they agreed to go on the 14th of November 1800. But Butler at this point had completely disappeared. It wasn't Cook, it was Butler. Oh yeah, that was the name. He was called Butler.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So basically, but Butler, who had seemed to have knowledge of these other lands, he basically just disappeared. And he went missing for weeks on end. So they decided, actually, maybe we won't bother doing the crossing. And then he just turned up the night before with everything that they needed, books, maps. And basically they set off from Charleston Harbour, and they predicted it would take 140 to 150 days to get to the point where they could cross through.
I just want to interject. I think he was in hiding.
Yes, and he's from the other side.
Yes, because it was quite. So that's why he pinged up at
last minute. He could only come up when it was when the time was right.
How I took that.
It's pretty big business, isn't it?
Yeah. Cool. So they got into the ice walls, and there was just words used in the story in the book, like dark waters, inhospitable, cold winds, huge mountains, and then eventually this all cleared, and they got through a passage, and then they were approached by a ship. Weren't they? And the blue irons, the things that were flying in the sky, and like they were being attacked by something.
Yeah, so they've got the other side, but I don't even know that they were being attacked. Were they? I thought they were looking at who they were.
Maybe, just because curious as to who they were coming through.
And then a ship came up, and
they went on to that ship. Yeah, and they took them to the Ancestral Republic.
Yeah,
it was called.
What kind of ship?
They describe it as a big, dark ship that travels silently.
Yes, smoothly and silently.
And
so there's a technology, but there's a technology that they're using that we obviously don't have. But like a very big.
So it says a dark blue ship, and when they were on the ship, they got sickness and dizziness, and there was lots of like dark tunnels and big, large harbours. And then they got through that point, and everything became then very serene, very beautiful. The moon was bigger; it shone brighter.
They had to go through this kind of
vortex type.
And when they were going through the ice wall, didn't they all feel very weird then, like it was going
very, very sick, very dark,
but also kind of
And it changed just dramatically. I think once they got to the Ancestral Republic, which is basically the ancestors that survived the reset.
Our ancestors.
This is how it's portrayed.
We come from somewhere, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then basically, in the Ancestral Republic, Butler revealed then that he had a wife and daughter there. So they then realised that he was from.
I've never felt at home yet. I've always felt like I was from somewhere else.
Definitely, or a different time or a different
just
something.
Like the whole place is wrong. you know, so I don't belong here.
Don't belong here. And then they had to basically travel to, they went to Anakin first, and then they got to the lands of Thoth, which as we were saying. And that's where the tall people were, but they weren't stupidly tall. They were between 2.5 and 4 meters and of mixed sizes. So they weren't necessarily these great big giants that people are thinking of. They were just
7
humans.
foot.
7 was probably average and taller.
Different. Do you know what I mean? I don't think we have one size giant.
And they're not massive. They're just bigger than us.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Big people of bigger stature.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because as we were saying, we were having a joking thing about if these massive giants were meant to have impregnated normal humans, how do they how do you have a baby? How do you
I brought it up on Flatterday. I thought it was an important historical study.
Could you imagine the size of the
We covered
custard chucker?
And how do you give birth to a giant baby when it's the size of like a 12-year-old or something?
But yeah, can you imagine the penis? Well, no, you wouldn't imagine that. Could you imagine the
penis
coming towards you?
No, I can envision like a human-sized penis.
Yeah, a giant-sized one coming towards
no,
a
human-sized.
Oh yes.
The head would be like the size of a head.
Oh, no, mate.
So we did have that whole thing. How can giants literally impregnate? Yeah, so that's another
they
story.
Obviously all fancied Shiki.
Yeah, so Shiki was a giant that they fancied, and she had all the knowledge, didn't she?
Yeah.
And the book.
I
And
dig it though with Earth women. You know, they because they probably proper ugly where they are. You know.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, it must have to come here.
Oh,
our Earth women, taking our Earth women. Maybe that's what happened with the giants. It's like we just had a shit full of killed them all.
Women have got the blame a lot?
Maybe, but they did describe Shiki as being very, very beautiful, blonde, and they all kind of like were really drawn to her. And she had like a funny accent. They said, didn't she?
Yeah.
And all the people spoke. They said English, but with accents.
Well, yeah, because I guess like any language, you remove it, it develops in a different way from where you take it from. Like, we've done that with American comes from us, the British, but they pronounce things differently.
Tomato.
Exactly.
The best one is Loughborough. They call it Luga Baruga.
Yeah.
And Stratford,
Greenwich, they say Greenwich.
Luga Baruga.
Yeah, Luga Baruga, is it? Loughborough.
Loughborough
Loughborough is tricky.
And what's the other one? Stratford, Upon Anyway.
Stratford upon Avon.
Yeah. Upon Yeah, got to do the extras with the O's.
And Hathaway's cottage.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, Shiki, you probably know more about Shiki. So she had like lots of books and stuff, didn't she?
Yeah.
But basically what it covered was 198 worlds covered with one dome, which is called the Great Dome. And then all these little smaller ones in between with several ice walls, domes over domes, basically. And then within this land, there was a place called the Celestial Lands. Now, this was the one area that nobody could penetrate. So there's the Custodians, basically.
The gods.
These people believe that we are ruled by a alien species, for want of a better word, extraterrestrial
I would go with that.
Being
called.
They call them the Custodians.
They call them the Custodians. And then below the Custodians, you've got the Anunnaki, and they all work together, all against each other. And then you've got all different types, basically. Yeah. And they're all working together, grouping together.
Some races are benevolent towards us, and others
are indifferent.
Working for the Custodians, and some are indifferent.
And they've all fought with each other, and they've all fought for lands. But basically, this one area, the Celestial Lands, they've never been able to penetrate.
Weird.
So, and they've never been able to penetrate the unknown zone either. So they kind of like feel that the Celestial Lands is a place but where only humans can go. We apparently 28 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or was that?
No, they're I don't know.
No, that's fine. We're still there.
Oh, so were we there all the whole time?
It will just go off for a second on the screen. It'll come back on again. They'll splice it all up. It'll be all right.
Oh, clever. Where were we?
I don't know. I completely lost my train of thought.
Nos Confunden.
Yeah, I think I was waffling on about how there is special interest in our dome, if you like, and humans
and being human,
and the those that come from the extra Earth, the extra land, and extraterrestrials or whatever. The other thing is that we're told it's all out there because it's all here and it's all been here with us, intermingling and
the whole time.
The whole time.
Yeah.
And I love when people go, "Oh, do you think aliens are gonna?" I think, "What, you think they're not bloody here? What are you on about?" It's just obvious to me.
I think what's interesting in this story as well is that the giants were working with us, not against us. Whereas a lot of the mythology and a lot of the stories around,
I feel they were creative. I feel that they were beautiful,
and
creative,
benevolent
to
us.
And basically, they were fighting the custodians and trying to help humanity.
us.
That's a retard behaviour. Anyway, they were big, so they must have been nasty.
Yes.
No, they weren't.
What
What about the gentle giant vibe?
Well, yeah,
there's that whole thing about gentle giants, and also you look at some of the children's stories where the Roald Dahl one where the giant, I can't remember that.
James and the giant.
No, it was a girl and the dreams go in the jar and the jar. Oh, anyway, it doesn't matter. But that was a benevolent giant. It's kind of that. It's there. But I've always had that feeling about giants.
Yeah, but in a lot of it, it's obviously portrayed as bad. The Nephilim, and all
but
that.
The Nephilim is a different.
What about Jack and the Beanstalk? Because he had to go. It was in another land. He had to go up a beanstalk, so it was up there.
It went up into the upper world.
And it was about gold or the golden eggs. So maybe that could mean information. And chopped it down. But it's fee, fi, fo, fum. I spell the blood of an Englishman. Be like, so it's sort of like
they demonised that one, didn't they? He was very demonised.
Yeah, but have you ever heard the words to the real words to London Bridge is falling down?
I think
there's about another 5 verses. It goes into shore it up with the bones of children. And
it's really dark.
Really
dark.
It's like it falls down, kill the children and put their bones under. It's like it go, and so many of these nursery rhymes.
But they were all about disaster, weren't they, or illness, or
all
something.
of it.
They were always about something horrible.
About the Black
Death.
Yeah.
I think they've all got like. The original ones are much longer.
Well, look at us, like Cinderella. She's like poisoned apple, falls asleep.
So the Grimm tales.
Hansel and Gretel.
They're all dark. There's all the dark.
It's all dark themes to it.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Red Riding Hood.
Yeah.
Grandma's a wolf. I'm going to eat her. What the fuck is all that about?
And that's the Grimm's fairy tales, isn't it? Rather than the Disney stuff.
They all got Disney farms.
So they all get Disney farms.
But I covered the Grimm's brothers, doubting their actual, like with Tavistock and everything, was anyone
they're probably not real, they're characters.
So I looked at, there's a few photographs of them, the Grimm's brothers, but I thought their name and their subject is too much of a coincidence.
Also, photographs are so easy to make. Fake photographs. I mean, that's what's told anyone more than anything.
Back catalogue of information about somebody can be just implanted, and we're just to presume that they've been there the whole time.
Well, think of our Prime Minister, whatever his name is. He was meant to be
the cokehead.
Is it a cokehead? But anyway,
the midget. Zelensky, man.
They got the same thing now.
The one we've got now.
Yeah, so the one we've got now. So basically, people did research on him, and even in the mainstream news, it's completely written down that not one person remembers him at Stanford. Yeah, he was a sparkling student, and he was
no one can remember
because he didn't exist.
And I've never seen him before.
Yes, it's on normal mainstream news.
Implanted.
So he's just a fiction.
Never seen him before. He looked like Prince Charles, but
it's the same overlay.
Spray paint job.
Yeah, and Roland Rat-a-bit.
Prince Charles used to be a big fucker, and now he's a little guy.
And he had massive ears.
What happened to the FA Cup? He's not FA Cup, and he's Mr. Sausage Fingers,
completely different guy.
He's fingers.
Completely different.
Terrible that water retention. Alcoholism's a terrible thing.
He's small.
They need to get a better base character.
His eyes are a bit close together. I don't know. It's all just
It pisses me off anyway, the royal family and Prince Harry. all of them.
They're all fake.
So it's all fake as shit.
They're not
Who
real.
gives a shit anyway?
They're not real. They're basically, that was the entertainment before we had Hollywood. For that generation, that was who everyone looked up to, everyone worshipped.
The royal families.
The royal families, yeah.
So they were
like
the
equivalent,
celebs.
yeah. So they were celebs, but they're
era.
created. These people are not real. And
It's
they're
like
legal fictions,
It's
but they're not real
insanity.
people.
How come we all got to suck up to one family and give them our money anyway? I don't get it. I do get it. I know what's going on, but it's like.
But the psychology of that, why would we think? Because they're not real anyway. So
No,
they're not
no.
real entities, right? But yet the masses think it's okay to give money to
invest
in
energy,
these
their
these
time.
people.
They print money. We're all being gaslit. Nobody has to pay taxes if they can print exactly what they needed. They just proved it 2 years ago. They printed more money in 2020 than ever.
But it's a friend of ours who says that it was 2012, wasn't it, that the whole banking system went down. So there's been no
real banking.
You'd think that with locking us down for a year that we've had an economic crash, wouldn't you? But they say, oh no, it's nearly crashed when 9/11 happened. It's like these fluctuations they say in the market. Zero. Nobody works, nobody earns any money, everything's closed down. Weirdly, all of the food doesn't run out.
Of course it doesn't.
Everything is well supplied, weirdly, right? No, I noticed that like a week after they announced it, they had these like discs that they put on the floor for you to stand on outside.
Oh, we whipped those off.
Yeah.
We used to go around, we whipped them all off.
Taking them off.
Well, I'll stand on a spot. No, I will not. I'll stand nowhere near that spot.
Remember that little boy saying, Daddy, what are those girls doing? We're at the train station ripping them off. And he said, I don't think they agree with what's going on. And we were like literally on the platform, weren't we? Like ripping them all off.
That's brilliant.
He didn't seem to mind that.
No, the dad was quite cool about it. He was like, oh, I don't think they agree with what's going on.
He probably told himself. He just don't want to
It's
say.
just the way we were doing it, weren't we? Just blatantly, great big ones
And
like
they're
that.
quite stiff.
Yeah, and they were like sandpaper
big glue,
as well, like all sandpapered.
Yeah.
We'd sit there like,
They were really on there.
It's so silly.
Some of them are still there as well. No, that just goes to show, where did they shit all of them out from? They had more.
They were all made ready, weren't they?
Yeah.
All part of the psychology.
Wasn't
all
there
part of the story.
Wasn't there that woman that was in the doctor's surgery and she was having to put them on the floor, the arrows and all this nonsense. And then she said that on the box it said made in blah blah and it was dated 2019. So
like the masks for that as well, weren't
that kind of woke her up because she was like, well, how did they know that
the pre-thing.
Yeah. So
did you ever see the film Songbird?
No, we just don't do films.
Don't watch films.
Right. Well, I've only watched it for the context, but it was made in 2019 and it's a CV film.
Songbird.
Yeah, like literally telling, and that's how people. Like literally, like they didn't ask the question was how did the government or all the cinema people know all of this was going to go down and make a film about it?
And still managed to do it,
Yeah, and they still put it out.
Yeah.
During it.
Yeah.
It was if it lasted to 2024, But
everything's already written, isn't it? It's what's going on. We were saying earlier
poorly.
that there's basically these foundations.
Yeah.
And the pattern's the same. And what happens is the overlays are different. That's how I see it.
And possibly the way
all the false flags.
If we respond differently,
they can't play out the way that maybe initially intended.
But this is what we're learning is that
what did we call it? Instead of false flags, we wanted to call it false trauma.
So
what they do is they put out false trauma.
Oh,
what's happened now?
The plug was out of the plug.
We can see.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Hi, Tash.
Hello.
That was weird.
Oh,
how we just survived on no battery whatsoever then.
But it worked.
Yeah.
But it's still recorded.
Yeah.
So that's recorded all the way through.
Yeah.
So we've not actually, even though it went spaggy.
If it do go spaggy, it'll stop. It won't show on there. It'll just.
It would have gone.
It would have been gone. Yeah.
So that's good. I'm glad about that.
Yeah. Well, it's not wasted. It's look, I haven't ended the recording.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Fantastic. So
what are false traumas we call them, and they put these false traumas out, and all of these false traumas are all the same makeup, and then they overlay the trauma on top, so the characters, the story, but the actual fundamental trauma of it is just like a package or an AI computer program that they put out. Things like the Nicola Bully thing. All these false traumas that they put out and get the public invested in are all.
Well, I think with all the serial killers, I don't believe any of it.
None of them.
Because they just got rid of Peter Sutcliffe. Oh, the evil has died. It's been on the front page of the papers this week.
Really?
This week, like yesterday, right? Peter Sutcliffe.
Yeah.
And I was wondering when I was a kid, I was like, how come the Queen and what's the boxer's name? Frank Bruno. There was even that one Harry, remember? what was his name? The famous boxer.
McGraw.
Henry Cooper. He even used to go and visit him. They were all like in a gang with Savile. They were all like,
But then Savile was a character. I mean, this is the thing. When you realise that they were all. That's another false trauma that was put out to us. The whole Savile case, a bit like the Frazzle Drip.
But when he was alive, no mention of it.
No, it's once they've gone.
Once they were gone. Once he was out.
Then
of the
they
way.
do it. Then they let it all go out.
Yeah.
It's a crazy one.
So, like, they do play the people against one another. Like you said on that post, if there's gnarly shit going down, there's like definitely slave stuff going on and people are kidnapped and stuff.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
All of that's going down, but they won't think about the real ones because they're too busy thinking about the bullshit.
And what they do is they project it. So even like when people get like Satanism, they get so into
their energy in the wrong place.
Yes, it's projected out, and then the humans at our level or whatever play out the actual thing.
How about not thinking about any of it full stop and not giving a shit because it's like not our reality, not our kind. Get on with your own existence. Don't give it the energy connection.
Exactly.
And bring it as a reality.
And invest that into
and live your life,
an empowered whole being and
fuck them.
Yeah.
But don't you find that with the so-called truther movement, which is just grim anyway, the vomit movement. But don't you find
I'm fun in it?
Yeah, but I wouldn't say you're a truther. Like you're not a truther.
No, I'm not truther.
You're someone who's seeking to find your own truth, which I think is very different to a truther.
I am, and I'm taking people on my journey with me.
Yes,
so
and if you get people coming along, yes, that's brilliant.
And that's why it's been organic. They watch it real time.
Yeah, that's nice. But with what I find with these people is that they just were saying it's just how quick they jump onto the next flipping bandwagon.
Like
it's almost embarrassing.
Like Q.
Oh, it makes me feel funny.
That was annoying.
It makes me feel funny.
It makes me feel funny.
It does make me feel funny. I'm so.
I try not to get an energy connection. I watched like Joe Rogan last week, and there's some guy on there talking about tartaria and mudfloods, and he's like about Noah's flood, and he's like, no one's talking about this, Joe. I'm like, literally, my heart nearly burst up my chest with rage. I was like, what the fuck, you little thieving bastard. So they're trying to take the narrative. This is one of the reasons I agreed to that convention. I thought this now
try and get your
put my stamp on because they're just trying to grab it.
Of course, they're going to jump on that.
Try and grab the narrative. They can't do it.
And then they can try and make it their own.
Well, they can't because they don't know what's coming next, so they can't know what's coming next. Do you know why? Because it's all in there.
Yeah.
So how the fuck they literally we done some paperwork yesterday on the computer, anything to do with truth and what have you. And they literally, I went on my Facebook this morning and it was connected with the paperwork that I had to do. I'm like, so you're just watching absolutely everything I do?
What, and then literally plagiarizing?
It's like, I couldn't even believe it. It's just like constantly doing it. It's like they got no imagination whatsoever. But I guess in it would save them employing any think tank.
Yeah.
Or
the other think tank.
Take it from YouTube. That's where they get the demographic of what's happening anyway, is YouTube. That's where the juice is, isn't it? It's not TV they're getting it from, is it?
No. And you find a lot of the stuff as well with all these false flags that they put out that now they don't even have to put a lot of it on mainstream media.
No.
Because the alternative media jump on, the train derailments.
And people go down there and do the TikToks and
they do it
for them.
Do you know what else they do? Forget.
Oh yeah.
It's like they want everyone to forget what's just happened, right?
So
go back to normal. It's like things like I seen a poster the other day and I thought they've all forgotten about that, where apparently Elon Musk stuck a car in space, a Tesla, and it was supposed to be orbiting.
Still spinning.
Oh yeah, there's supposed to be a car up there. But it was the biggest advertising opportunity in the world's history. They could have put Marlboro on it. They could have put adverts on it, because this thing's in space, but they never mentioned it again because, like with everything, they want you to forget that any of this happened. On
to the next trauma, on to the next story, on to the next whatever.
They were supposed to be on the moon, according to they lost the telemetry. They haven't got any of it, but they're going back. They're going to Mars. Then. And they've just put out there now, the Royals are getting in on this as well. They've got
they would be, wouldn't they?
Really important.
They're getting themselves a plot on Mars. The dot in the sky they're talking about. Weird fucks.
Which according to Nos Confunden is the experimental place.
And I would agree.
If you do well, And
yes, it's also beautiful there.
Work if you work well for the custodians here and help them with their dastardly plans, you get a lovely retirement on Mars.
On Mars, apparently, but Mars is very, very beautiful as well.
It's also used as a kind of reward.
A reward, yeah.
Do you know anyone who sells out in this place? Yeah, I read. I got a meme I saved this morning, and it was the guy who was that famous Satanist.
Alistair Crowley.
Not that one. Oh, the American.
The one with the eyebrows like that.
So Anton DeVay.
Anton DeVay.
Right.
Eyebrows.
Apparently, his deathbed statement was no, this is wrong. This is wrong.
Oh,
no.
I love it.
Right. And Alistair Crowley's deathbed statement was no, get out of here, Satan. I've been betrayed. Dead. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
But yeah, I got the meme. I got the I just saved it this morning. I was like, yeah, there it is. There, look.
Ooh.
So Anton LaVey said, oh my, what have I done? There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong. There's something very wrong. And Alistair Crowley on his deathbed said, last words, I am perplexed. Satan, get out.
They look like the same overlay.
It's gone to shit. It do look
similar.
They've
got the same overlays.
I'm telling you.
Their eyes.
But I see, I see
overlay.
the same demon in artists. Like the lead singer of Depeche Mode, he's possessed by the same spirit that's in the guy from the Arctic Monkeys. There's a few of them I spot. The face is the same.
Overlay.
It can look at you for a split second, and I recognize it for a split second. I thought, fuck me, that's fake. That's scary. That's evil.
Because I think they overlay voices as well as faces. They have like we were saying, obviously, what's he called? Klaus Schwab was another character who was a real human being, but actually, he's identical to that Greta Thunberg. It's the same voice overlay and the same coldness, and it's the same.
I wonder if they
program just they just used it differently.
We don't even know if these are real people because we're not there, are we?
No, they're not real.
I don't think. I think
they're characters.
Now, my attitude now is if you're a real person. I mean, that's why we've come to see you, Martin, to check that you're a real person.
They wanted to see if I'm not Illuminati confirmed. Yay!
He's not a hologram.
No,
it's not a hologram. But even like
that's going to fuck a lot of people because they say I put a boat video out yesterday, right? When me and my son went to my boat, but somebody was in my comments said, "You're not fooling anyone, Matt. I know you're a lizard. So you're not fooling anyone. You
going out on your boat.
Going out on your boat, you lizard shifting bastard."
That's really funny. That is funny.
Well, we can bounce.
No.
We are here. This is real.
Yes.
Very, very real. And we're not holograms either.
No.
And I'm not a man. I have a fat trachea. But I own it.
She's not a man, I can assure you.
I have been called a man.
On
occasions.
That's all right. I was called a Jewish woman. I'm neither.
We're all just inverts.
Just
inverted.
But it is weird when you put your face on YouTube, though. It's like the people who are pulling you are usually like, not to be horrible or anything, usually sad fucks, aren't they?
Or are they just bots?
Bots. Some are bots, some are saddos, and
some are just getting paid to do.
They don't know to play nice.
Tash,
we don't want pulled.
No, not on YouTube.
No, I want people to come in and play nice. Everyone's welcome.
Not pulled.
I thought you meant pulled.
She thought you meant like, you come to my bed
to play. No, I don't.
No, we don't get pulled on Line Bex. Just for the record, no, we don't.
That's not a good road to go down. I can show you.
Tash, why don't we get pulled on YouTube?
I don't know.
Pulled in.
Pulled in, drawn in. I get you now. I'm with you now.
With my magnets.
Yeah, exactly.
With your magnets.
Magnetism. Martin magnetism. It's all about electromagnetics and magnetism anyway. Because I've always been I've been able to attract really good people, right? But I do get the odd psychopath that steps out and tries to. And then I get like this adversary thing going on. Somebody who's I've encountered some decidedly proper, real psychopaths in my time. Yeah, they're like
you've been out with. Did you say, or just being around?
As well?
Across,
as well.
Okay.
Yeah, as well. But I mean, just people generally just step out, and it's like
get the odd psychopath thrown in every now and then.
Yeah.
What's a psychopath? Just somebody without empathy. I mean. Ultimately, I think
if you were toxic.
Toxic.
I think if you were to look at the clinical thingy, it's the lack of empathy.
Bad thoughts.
Yeah.
Bad thoughts.
But if you have no empathy, you have bad thoughts, don't you?
Yeah.
I guess. But then we all, when people go on about like Satan and God and good and evil, as we stand in this realm as it is at the moment, we all are all part good, part bad.
I am good and I am bad, but
Yeah.
like I was thinking, like when I watched that lovely little critter animal video this morning, how upsetting it was. And I was thinking, well, if it had been the same with human beings, I wouldn't have been
bothered. No, that's so true. I cried about all the dog ones.
I'm like, these animals, I'm like proper welling up.
I cried
and
about
these
dogs
people,
in
I'm
Thailand.
like, oh, fucking hell, let's go on then.
Yeah, it's true. If I see an animal like that's been hit and all its legs are funny, I get all scared. But then if I see like someone in a wheelchair,
my nerves are
like,
shredded. I know, it's weird, isn't it?
No, it is weird.
I know.
But no, I don't look at a paralysed human in a chair and think, oh my God, poor them.
Yeah,
like,
I
you
don't...
see a little paralysed dog on those little wheels, I'm like, oh!
Does that mean we are unkind? I don't think so. I think
we're just hard on humanity, aren't we?
Well, they deserve it. They've been total wankers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally let us down. They shot the lot of us, basically. They chucked us all on the fire because when they, everything that's happening to everybody now, and most death in this place is all because of the system, right?
Human related.
It's because of the way they set the system up with the taxation and everything else. So everyone's like best thing is, oh, I'm going to work, say, I get a good job, say, at the post office. And they're quite happy, that man, because he's paying his mortgage to live his entire life. And he's quite happy to never achieve more in life
than that.
And he may have a dream. No, wouldn't it be nice to win the lottery? And then we could all go and do,
But I get my pension, I'll stay at the post office.
Okay, so they have opted for the lesser life, the robot's job, okay, for the promise of something that they're never going to get because they're going to die miserable and shitting themselves. Because once they get them in hospital, that's what happens with them.
Start shitting and pissing.
Slowly rot.
Okay. That doesn't happen to everyone. Your best thing is to die in your sleep and be clever. Okay?
That's what we should be doing. We should always die in our sleep.
Always die in our sleep.
We should always fall asleep and then die.
Yeah.
Take mushrooms, fall asleep, and die properly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I have to take the mushrooms?
Yeah, but
please don't make me take the mushrooms.
No, you don't have to. You'll get off on my mushroom buzz. It'll be enough.
That'll be enough. Don't make me die on mushrooms. Please.
Everyone in my community is forbidden to die or get ill.
That's a good rule.
It's not allowed. It's no. Forget it. You're sick. You're a sicko. Okay. And if you die, you're dead.
You're dead.
Which is also no fun. Okay. Which is also
we don't know that.
It might be brilliant actually.
Yeah,
we could die every night. How do you know when we go to sleep every night we don't fall awake? And that is like we're like literally dead.
And we spend more time sleeping probably than being awake. Yet we know nothing about it. Probably.
We do. You.
I don't.
You don't sleep much, but
people can. Most people spend more than their life asleep than they are awake. And when you get older, you sleep a lot more. When you're babies, you do. If you look at it like a cumulative. So, and that's the least understood part of our existence is when we're sleeping.
I stayed awake for decades though once.
Ooh.
But that was drug related.
Mine isn't. I just can't sleep.
Yeah, Tash never sleeps.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit. I have to take pharmaceuticals to sleep if I need sleep.
Oh no!
I know. Sorry, but I'm too scared of.
Where's your party? You can
it's not a party. It's just desperation.
You can literally though change the physiology of your body to to do it. Listen, if you get this place down right, you can literally change the geometry of like you could drink sewer water and make that pure through intent and safe to drink. I reckon. Okay. I would put it in my. I'm not going to be doing any piss drinking. Okay, but if I put it in my 4-3-2 bowl, charmed it, says a little bit of Martin mind magic. I bet you. Well, maybe not sewer water.
I'm not sure about that. But I know what you mean.
Puddle water.
But isn't that what?
You can put the life back in water.
Yeah, but isn't that what? I know it's a biblical story, but isn't that what? When Jesus turned water to wine, that was just a vibrational shift, wasn't it?
Changing it from one thing to another.
Yeah, and
I don't think he's making everyone a piss head, is he? Because that would be unkind with liver failure and everything.
Well, I don't drink alcohol, so I wouldn't be able to join.
I haven't got any alcohol in my house.
I'd rather have the water. I'd be
I don't drink.
Could you turn it back?
No, my water back.
I'll just have some water, mate. I'd get him to turn it back.
Because we've got one of those vibrational wand things that you wand your water with.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
iTerra.
Dowsing.
Yeah. No, it's got a blue light and you turn it on. It's called iTerra. a P-rife. So it uses scalar energy, which is a bit like quantum energy, is what they say.
And
it tells you what? Where's this water?
Nothing.
No, it heals you. So what it does, it puts the life back into the water. So you wand your water, and it makes it back into like living water.
Yeah, living water.
And then you drink the wanded water, and then if you've got ailments in your body, you wand yourself.
That
hasn't made me sleep. I've been doing it for ages. And
I was magnetising and vortex in the water.
Yes, it's a similar. Does it magnetise it, or does it?
Well, no. If you just put in a glass bottle and spin it, and then put 3 magnets around it until it settles, it magnetises the water.
Okay,
but you've got to have neodymium magnets.
Yeah, we've got some of those, haven't we?
Yes.
Otherwise, it don't work.
But
yeah.
So you put 3 around the glass.
Spin it
first. Just put it down. Put 3 magnets around the glass, and it magnetises.
And then it'll stop spinning.
It making magic water, and then put your intent, obviously.
Yeah, because water's got memory, isn't it?
You know, I do with my foods when I cook. You know, with people, I'm careful what I think of them because I don't want to change. You know, their geometry.
You just do it to their food.
Yeah, this is why I don't give. My food, right? I literally bless it as I'm going. I change it. So I want it to taste fantastic. So, you know, even the mundane beans on toast will taste better than the average beans on toast.
And also, if you are eating slightly processed or whatever, you can raise the vibration of it before you eat it.
I do it every time.
Yeah.
And with people as well, because memory has water.
Yeah. Water has
memory.
And energy comes before matter. So you change the energy.
And that water does taste different when you wand it.
It tastes different.
Velvety, like a velvety thing. And you found it really helpful for a rib injury, and my son hurt himself, and I've used it on him. I think for acute injuries it works really well. But I think if you've got deep set.
Sometimes I drink tap water and it'll just stop there and it won't go down at all.
Oh, it's the chlorine. I can't bear the taste of the chlorine. It's so strong when you're not used to drinking it. It's
like
I can't believe that people think that's normal. Yeah. Really strong. The chlorine is really, really strong.
You can smell it.
And that's so they can, like I said, change our
it's like ammonia.
waste. How can they change our waste back into water? I don't like that.
Don't.
No,
we're drinking poop.
It's wrong, isn't it? What a horrible thing to do to anybody.
Bleached poop.
Drink your own shite.
That's quite colourful, isn't it? The sun's shining in and it's really proper HD in it.
Actually, yeah.
And this here as well, it's like a little alien head or something.
I'm showing.
Isn't it? Like a little.
Oh, yeah.
Like a little funny.
I like this mic.
It's a good little mic, actually, the Blues mics.
Yeah.
I got a condenser, but this one's the best one. It picks up
everything.
Like a nice...
All the rustling and clinking. And
it does. It does do that. It does do
my chewing.
And you dropping your books and papers rustling.
But it's okay, even though I call myself Marticus Farticus, I'm not a farter.
Well, we haven't noticed.
I can't imagine him farting.
But there hasn't been any farting.
I don't. I'm just saying I'm not naturally a farter.
He's not a natural farter.
For a bloke, I mean.
It's a natural farter. Just an occasional slip one out one of those. Sorry, it wasn't me.
I'm not sweaty either.
We are. Yeah, we always sniff our armpits.
I might be a little bit hot now though.
See that I'm sweaty now.
Are you?
Yeah, right. Sweaty
I'm breaking out in sweat, and I got the window open, and it's only degrees.
I made deodorant yesterday, so I got my new freshly made deodorant.
Yeah, we always make our own deodorant.
Yet, but I will.
I'm just shortly.
Aloe vera.
No, I use juniper berry and lavender.
And then what's the base? I use
coconut oil.
And I use a little bit of bicarb.
And bicarb, and it's that stuff. I can't remember the name of it. It's a powder. It's white, and it's oh my god. Oh, but it's that. I can't remember the third ingredient.
What is it?
Oh,
mono.
A bit like corn flour. Like
yes,
start.
It's
Topicia. TOPICIA. That's what I use. It's a bit like corn flour.
It's a bit like a corn flour. Yeah. So it kind of binds it together. And then you just whack it under.
Because I used to have really bad, like sweaty armpits. I was like a real proper bad one. And when I was younger, I was like, I can't put my arms up. I was so embarrassed. All my clothes were yellow, and I just was convinced I stank.
Did you go around?
No, I did. Like and I was like, I can't play pool in the pub.
Some women have like big bushy armpits, though, don't they?
I've got 4 pubes. No pubes. I've got 4
pubes. You've got 4 pubes, guys.
I've got hardly any pubes.
That's not even Brazilian. That's more Rock of Gibraltar, isn't it?
I've spoken about this before. When I was younger, I didn't get pubes. I was a really late developer, and I just remember just dying to have pubes, like dying. I had like 4.
Can't you just like pen them on for the showers?
Well, and I had this when we used to go.
You could like do a little different style.
No, but it was see through, and everyone would be like, they call me 4 pube Tash.
Aww.
And they'd be because you could see it, and you could.
Give it so hurtful.
Yeah, but now I love it because I'm just.
But now you're young, and they're a battle bastard. So we won. Tash. Half of them are dead.
Tash with the sparse gash.
Half of them are dead, Tash. Who won?
I won.
You won.
But yeah, sweaty pits. So what I used to do is put like really heavy, like that horrible, awful deodorant that stops you sweating.
Mitchum.
Yeah, Mitchum from then. I used to wear Mitchum from then.
Brute.
And then Brute.
I'm always more allspice.
But do you know what? When you stop using that, and then I had to go through a detox of being all right, sweaty twat for about 4 or 5 weeks. And now I know I'm sweating now, but
you could get blood poisoning through shitty aftershave and deodorants,
well,
and it's toxins.
It's horrible
toxic
stuff,
shit.
Yeah, and it interrupts your endocrine system.
yes, that's
Exactly
the main thing.
that.
Yeah.
Putting it right by your lymphs.
Well,
and your
right in your
arms.
lymph nodes.
Yeah.
That's why I didn't go down a tattoo road, because I thought, well, they're just going to run riot on
It
my
will
intracranic
leach.
system.
It will
Here. It's
leach
like I'm
into
getting
you.
like weirdly acupunctured. They could be doing anything.
And it would leach. It's going to leach whatever's in unless you use a
What do you
certain
mean
type.
leach?
Well, the actual ink's going to leach into you as well. So if
Like
they
that.
use like toxins,
So would that leach into you?
probably. I should imagine anything into the skin. If you think about it, the ink's going to be made of the same as what
Indian
ink's
ink,
made
that
of.
was
That's probably not so bad.
extracted from ink.
From the ink plant.
In India.
No, it's an
Indian ink plant.
octopuses.
Oh,
that where it
yeah. The black stuff from
No.
octopus ink.
Tell us in comments
Interesting.
where ink comes from.
Yeah,
None of us actually know.
From the Indian ink tree.
From Inca man.
Yeah.
Which is
Inca, it would be, yeah.
The Inca.
So it would be
The Inca.
I bet it's a berry or no.
No, it can't be a berry.
Initially, the dye.
It comes from a shellfish.
Does it?
So it's another octopusy type thing, that black stuff. Like
I don't know. Well, you were mentioning purple, right? Well, I've covered purple,
Yeah.
you know, because of the elites and
Yeah,
the purple.
They
and-
all wear it, yeah.
And have you seen how hard they were the richest people in the ancient world was purplers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were the kings or the emperors or the Caesar's right hand man. Do you realise how hard it is to get hold of?
Purple dye?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
It was like out of a sequestration.
Yeah.
She's on a beach in Lebanon
That's
only
right,
one
it's
time
a
of the year.
starvation.
Yeah,
Yes,
it was also
yes.
very difficult to make
Yeah,
purple.
it's like
as a
worse
colour,
than
so
getting
it
truffles.
so
Yes, it was
like
a weird thing. It's
scheme.
from a crab, wasn't it? A certain
So,
crab that came out at a certain time of year.
Yeah,
They got it
but-
from
It's
that.
a really weird thing.
Yeah.
To get
What you find is like they with the they dyed the felt.
Mm-hmm.
And felt, okay, that is like got electromagnetic properties. Felt has. Yeah, if you rub
Proper,
it,
like what? Like wool felt.
if you
Real
rub it,
felt.
you're static straight away. If you got
So not the polyester, the actual wool felt.
old wool
Oh,
felt,
traditional
Yeah,
felt that
felt.
we
so
made.
felted. Yeah.
and it was treated with mercury as well. That's part of the felt process. If you look into it, okay.
Is it still treated with
It's
that?
still treated with
Still
mercury.
treated
I'm
with
going to just wear felt now, Tash.
I think I know the old
Turn
clothes
around,
was a tech.
felted dress.
The old clothes was tech, and the clothes
course it
they
was,
give
it's
us
there
now,
for a
you
reason.
know,
Mm.
earrings tech. Okay,
Earrings
they're
tech, yeah.
extra tech.
Yeah.
Long hair, yeah, like the
Yeah,
Rosicrucianists,
that's
yeah.
our antenna.
Antenna,
Yeah.
yeah. I cut that off. That's the first thing they do. Concentration camps, prisons, armies. So you don't think for yourself, cut that fucking hair off.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I grew it long. My
Yeah.
psychic antenna.
It is. And,
What about
and-
pubes then?
I was
what
I
about
was
them? They
What
are
have they got a like?
antenna.
Do they
I was
talk to the
later. I
ether?
was a little later than my mates.
Well, you're a bit like me, a bit.
A
Yeah.
bit later
Yeah.
than my mates. They were about a year ahead of me. Okay. Which was shit because when I was a kid, all I wanted to do was be a grown up so I could get my hands on females. So I was left behind a little bit.
yeah.
And I was cute as a kid.
Did you have to wait an extra
You wait an
year?
extra
like-
year, and they were like,
No, I tried.
Did you?
I tried.
didn't let it
I
defeat
tried.
you.
I didn't let it defeat me. I tried. I tried with no pubes.
You tried with no pubes.
I just couldn't.
Did
I
you
was,
try with
no,
no pubes?
no, I was devastated having no pubes. Devastated.
So you wouldn't let anyone.
Oh no, no, no.
Oh,
No. I used to have to like pretend to shave my legs, and I used to have a fake tampon that I'd get out every now and then. Oh, I got a tampon.
Oh,
I did that. I did the whole.
You
and then,
confess too much of.
Oh,
but
darling.
it's so true. And then literally, I remember it was like the Easter holidays, and I came back and I'd grown these 36 double D tits.
Right,
And then everyone asked me out over 3
Fucking
weeks.
brilliant.
And then everyone, I was like a side date with these
Thank you.
massive
Oh,
tits.
God.
And then all of a sudden, everyone was like, "Whoa, I know it's Tash out," and it was
How
just
long
like,
you
yeah,
then?
It's like, where's she been
15 or
hiding?
16.
So did you suddenly? Oh, was it just
I just
Overnight.
ballooned 3 weeks.
Overnight.
The Easter holiday. I remember it. I
3
remember it. It was the
It
Easter
happens.
holidays.
During
I remember it
Rona,
distinctively.
people were like, the kids, their friends were coming back off of like being, I haven't seen them for a year, and they're like, who the fuck are you? And it was like this big bloke, you know.
Yeah,
It's
so
like-
it can happen pretty quickly.
Voice broke and everything else in a year.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, it's funny.
my
No.
broke. I was capable of being a father at 13.
Ooh, sorry. I just like
It's horrible, isn't it?
Yeah, custard chucking.
Custard chucking.
There's no custard chucking in my reality. It's love pea.
Love pea.
Secrets, holy love pea.
I
don't like it.
You do.
I
Really. You
don't.
mentioned it the other day that you do.
This is very embarrassing. Poor Tash.
I'm a
You're
prude.
not blushing yet. You're
Love
not blushing
I'm a
yet.
prude.
It's not blushing yet, though.
I'm a prude.
I guess all shy. Look
Yeah,
at me.
I'm shy.
I feel all hot now and flustered. And I got a sweat going on.
Yeah.
It's your fault,
Is it
Tash.
my fault?
Yeah.
I know. I'm really pleased that everyone's going to be so jealous that I've got to meet Tash and Bex.
Yeah, well, we thought we'd come and see you. Why not?
Why not? And
It's
then
a great plan.
and we're going to do a nice little video afterwards, aren't we, for our channel?
Yeah.
We want to talk. We want to
gonna
get
grill
we want to
you.
talk about the
We're
reset.
going to grill you, Martin.
And
I'm going to be
and
grilled.
everything.
By Tash
Yeah,
and
but
Bex.
yeah.
Yeah.
Should we
Oh.
like hammer with the mallet first, soften him? What's it called when you tenderize him?
Tenderise.
Tenderize him, and then we'll grill
we
him.
can marinate him.
So I can be soft and tender.
Yeah, because Tash.
No, I know, I didn't mean
soft
it.
Skin.
And I don't tell people I say things that nice.
Is that nice? Yeah, but you said I don't want to touch you. But
No,
you've got
I
nice
wouldn't
skin.
touch. She's just got a nice olive skin. as well.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Nice.
nice skin.
We can't wait to get suntanned.
I love it. I'm like that. I love the sun.
I stay in the sun. I can't.
I love
not
the
be in
sun.
the sun. If it was boiling out there, I would be.
Oh, me
depressed.
too. I
I can
love
drag
the
that chair up the back in the sun because I fucking hate it. It stinks of like. It
sun.
looks
Doesn't
like,
suit you, does it? Is it?
no, it's all
doesn't
old
suit you.
people
Why does
stuff.
it rock?
Don't know. Stupid. I seen an old person the other day, right, Bex?
Oh, a real one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was buying 40 Lambert and Butler in the scratch cards in the shop in front of me, and I thought, oh fucking hell, that's really bad. So that's where everyone's going, you know. Although she's like NCP and completely fucked.
But you know what? Don't they cover like cigarettes now? So would you even know if you're buying Lambert and Butler? Aren't they just all like generic?
So
Well,
haven't
I
bought
did start
cigarettes for
collecting the
years.
covers because they're like pretty sick. They don't mind selling them to you. You know, quitting will improve your health.
Oh, the covers are horrible, aren't they?
I'm
That
55
one's not
and
bad.
still
That's
running,
not bad.
Sometimes.
running around.
Yeah.
I
So
don't not
understand
concur.
that. They're putting it into your brain.
Oh, they give you like dead baby.
Yeah.
Smoking
That-
causes
Yeah,
blood
but that's
cancer.
CGI, isn't it?
Yes.
They're not even real images anyway.
No, it's like
Yeah.
it's
That's
always
completely
CGI.
CGI'd.
It's just there. It's more fear porn.
False
You know?
fear.
See what they started doing, like they literally like my partner was with like quarter of a century. They took her
Okay.
in to give her a smear and said, "Oh, you could have cancer later down the road." And then they just started like spending a decade chopping bits of her away. Yeah.
That's so gross.
So that all of her health went down.
And your morale
Who-
goes down.
Well, literally,
psyche
her
goes down.
womanhood. So she was just depressed. She's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm not attractive. I'm like fucking. I'm
They're
fucking
taking my
mangled.
taking my femininity away.
They did, and it was cruel to see as well. And
So did they say she had HPV?
but when she did die, she never had no cancer because none of this ever arrived. So they mutilated her for sweet fuck all,
That's really quite common.
and caused the problems that she.
That she did die of in the end. That
Yeah.
did
So they,
cause her to- yeah.
so it was long, like just chopping bits away for fuck all together at the
But
end.
this whole smear thing, it's because they look for this HPV virus basically when they give you a smear, and when they go inside, basically they disturb the cells. It's the disturbing of the cells that causes the cancer. So what you can actually do is get tested for HPV using a urine test, which you can buy online, just for any women out there who are thinking, I don't want to have my smears, but I want to know if I'm
HPV.
yeah, HPV. And you basically get them, send them off to the laboratory, and they say, yes, you've got it. No, you haven't. And then everyone's going, but what if I've got it?
Yeah, but what do they say? The potential to have it.
But
You
then
see damaged cells.
Yeah, but
they
it's-
says with the same with the liver. Oh, you got bad enzymes. I think that's like the early stages of liver disease. They say to drinkers.
think,
Bad enzymes.
yeah.
Mm.
But
And think is the
But
operative
nothing
word
happens.
there. They think.
no, exactly. And then
So
everyone's
suggestion.
but then they say like, but then what if my urine comes back as positive? What do I do? You do the same as what the NHS do. You test 6 months later. But of course, the NHS is messing up your cells again. You're just going to do a urine sample. Normally, HPV virus will last 2 to 3 years, and then your body will naturally get rid of it. But in that 2 to 3 years, you'll be going to the doctor every 3 months, maybe every 6 weeks, and then prod your cells a little bit more.
No,
And then
And
it
then
gets
prod them a
worse.
little bit more, and then you will get cancer.
that's it. Once they start prodding you around and all of that,
Yeah.
you know, I've got my ideas of what I think is going on there. I really do.
Mm.
You know, it's not what they say at
Mm.
all.
Mm.
You know.
I mean, dis-ease as we are.
Well, that's
We're
all
still
it is.
researching all of this, aren't we? The
I
medical
think
side of
everything's
things,
in the
but-
nasal pass. I think it's all in the mucous membrane and you're in your environment. And as you said, with changing the geometry and stuff, you keep yourself in like a state of divinity and be able to, you know, do a connection with
Yeah.
source.
Yeah.
None of that bullshit.
Doesn't touch you.
But then it does.
Can't touch you.
But then when you've got somebody like my son,
can't touch you.
who is a very, very sick person, and he has immunity problems, and he has weird cells in his liver that are this, that, and the other that make his immunity low, even though I don't believe in immunity the way that they portray it. But why does Oscar get ill every he has a 2 weeks of illness, a week of well, 2 weeks of illness, a week of well? What is
it's a cycle
causing it to, you know, he doesn't do anything. He's much healthier than me. He's a really healthy minded person.
He's kind of in a reactive cycle
physically.
Yeah, and also because he's in a wheelchair, he never grounds, he never earths.
Yes, I need to get him a ground.
Just get his feet on the floor.
How does he get the electromagnetic
I'll have to get him a pad.
They're brilliant.
Protons from Mother Earth?
I'll get him a
pad
because you can sit on it, can't you? Rely on it.
You can put him in your bed as well. I got a friend who swears by his.
I've got a grounding sheet.
I've got a pillow actually. Maybe I'll give it to him.
But honestly, Tash, I do that really especially when we did the electromagnetic stuff. When we did that research, anyone who's in a chair, rubber wheels. They never put their feet on the ground. They're insulated completely. Yeah. Even if he goes on the grass, but you know, getting earthed because then his electromagnetic field is strong. Yeah, and it's that which protects us.
You know, I'm kind and stuff. Well, I went to the first Flat Earthers convention, and the guy Steve turns up in his wheelchair to meet us. I thought that's really nice. I'll head for cathedral. I thought I'll push you around, and within 2 minutes, I managed to wheel him through dog shit.
Dog shit. And then it's flying around.
No, you and me at the earth, right? So, like, there's a meet 2 years later in Oxford. He turns up again, like, and I know that he's got his hands on it, and I feel really bad and stuff. And I was like, "Do you want me to take you around to the wheelchair?"
No, thanks. You're all right.
Nothing worse than getting like even in a pram or something.
Oh God, yeah.
But I should have told him because that's really bad of me. Because like he obviously.
It touches your hand.
Got his hand, hands.
And then you just get shit everywhere.
Yeah, and there's all these little subtleties to.
And then they can change our shit into water and then we drink it.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
And they put shit in breeze blocks that they build their houses with too. Because if you go to a breeze block factory, it literally stinks of shit.
Do they all just shit and there's like, I've got my job, I'm a shitter for the breeze blocks.
You can. I don't think they wasted. He was prized in the antique world for the tannery process.
Yes, tanning. Yeah,
I thought that urine. Was me.
Yeah, urine.
Yeah.
Also, you can extract gold from poop.
Oh, can you? How?
I don't know. You'd have to research it. Alchemy. Chemical processes, subtle energies. Yeah, you can literally turn a lump of poo into
a small nugget of gold. Do an alchemic process.
Alchemy.
Wow,
interesting.
Yeah, using. I think we were definitely psychic though in the past because.
I still think we are now.
My psychic abilities have always been there. I've had like literally so many people, even when I was a kid, people used to come up to me and say, "You're psychic, Matt." It's like they're just like out of the blue.
Yeah, I think we all are.
And I was always at this thing when I was a kid where I just thought, and every time I thought about it, I used to get mad buzzes on. I still do now. This thing with guardian angels and spirits about us, and you know, I was petrified of ghosts as a kid.
I don't like ghosts.
Really petrified. Yeah.
That's why you got
I was like run down the stairs with something on my ass. You know, I couldn't get down there quick enough. I was always petrified.
I was like that.
Yeah.
Really scared of ghosts.
Really scared of ghosts.
I ran over a ghost once. I literally was in my car with me and my friend, both completely sober, on the island of Alderney. And I was dropping her home, and there's just the upper road and the lower road. We're on the lower road.
Told me about it.
And driving in my Mini, and there were two people, and I hit them with my car, and they went.
And there was nothing there.
They went through the car. We both got out, looked around. The next morning, I was just like, "Oh my god, the police are going to get me. Going to find these two bodies that are like up the side of the road that I couldn't see."
So high, you didn't.
But I mean, there was no impact. I just drove through them, but they were like me and you, and they were modern day. So they had like caps on and t-shirts. It wasn't like they were an apparition of some sort of.
See, I don't think hallucinations are hallucinations. I think they're just us changing our frequency.
Yeah,
it's like the mind closes stuff down you don't need, and it opens up stuff.
And every now and then, and it opens.
More, and your mind's eye slams open as well.
It's the weirdest thing, like physically running over ghosts.
I was on the toilet once as a kid, right? And I literally the shower curtains closed, and I can like hear a noise in the fucking shower curtain. And I pull it back like that, and there's like literally a dude, long black leather jacket, goatee moustache, the devil, like standing in my bath. And I say to him, "Who are you?" without words. And he says, "I'm the master, Martin." And then I pull the curtain, close my eyes, said, "Please just make it go away. Please just make it go away. Please just make it go away." Open the curtain, he was gone. But I could still feel it there.
It's the sense I don't like.
When I was in the merchant navy, I had entities visiting me in my cabin. So when they say strange things happen at sea, when they say that,
it's true.
It's fucking true.
Ooh, yes.
You're away from all of this. You're away from the vibration of the land and the people.
Yeah, I find it very weird. I don't like being.
And everything changes. People got a certain look in their eye when they're at sea as well. It's like
a wildness.
A wildness. Yeah. You don't know you can die anytime. You can do that year anyway.
Yeah, but I know what you mean. It's a primal sort of wildness.
It is because I don't know. I can't really put my finger on it. I see her on sailing videos, so I watch. They got the same thing. It's very unusual. It's like, but. Everyone is aware.
They've come away from the land and the vibration, and they're actually
not grounded, are they?
Not grounded at all, and on this moving, I don't know.
It's a different energy. It's a different energetic field. Isn't it? The sea is different.
But they have a wildness because
and
they are.
Salt.
No, I think mermaids are a real thing.
Mermaids are.
As crazy as it sounds.
Yeah, no, mermaids are.
And I wasn't the only.
Were real.
Yes,
mermaids were real,
and dragons.
Or they're real somewhere else.
Yeah.
Are they through?
How about people? Right. I mean. Solid people with smell and all of it, humans, people just turning the fuck up out of nowhere and disappearing to nowhere of an evening.
I call them pop throughs. That's what I call them, pop throughs. They just
I'm not talking about dreaming. I'm talking about the real world.
They pop through from there, wherever they're around, their dimension. They just pop in and I call them pop throughs. And they just pop in for a little bit.
What have you seen those?
Might have a chat.
Only women.
Chit chat, and then they pop back out again. But it's not a ghost.
And do you talk to them?
No, sorry.
No, do you don't talk to them? So where do they appear in your life, these women?
In my bed, usually.
Yeah.
And then you never see them again?
No, they disappear.
Wonder why.
But they leave all of the essence
of
behind.
Them.
So that I know that I'm falling asleep and I just drank this shit. Okay? And another thing that happened to me at sea, right, is I fell asleep and I seen all the crew in their demonic form. Literally, the captain's wife came in, Eva, looked at me, and she was in that like a horror film demonic form. Weird thing was, though, when I woke up and went into the mess hall, they were talking and they all shut the fuck up. And
do you feel like they were talking about you?
Yeah, they were talking about me, but it was like something to do with he just seen us in our demonic state. He knows, like, yeah, because there was something weird going on with a lot of them on that ship. They were a family crew,
and ships are known for being there's the whole mystery about ships, isn't there, and entities and ghostly. Ghost ships.
Our ship was haunted. There's no rats on a haunted ship. The one I was on, the captain Theo, it was called the Andrzej Barowi because it was named after.
Got weird names as well.
Yeah, it was a Polish guy who made the ultimate sacrifice. Couple of people fell overboard. He dived in. They got saved.
He died, as the captain always should.
Yeah. So
the ship go down with the ship.
Christmas, and we're doing a toast in my cabin. I went like that. It's like, "Happy Christmas, Andrzej Barowi," and the door went. And I'm standing next to my door, and I went like that, and all I see was a wisp of air just going down the corridor. He was like, he knocked the door as he went past. I was in the carbon monoxide chamber on the ship, changing a light bulb, okay? And I was shitting myself. It was pitch black. I was shitting myself. And I put the bulb in like that, and it exploded with a white flash of light. And I looked through, and there was a guy stood in the corner with a flat cap, looked proper Polish, with a flat cap on, like sort of working men's clothes, and he looked straight the fuck at me. I can't tell you, I was out of there like you wouldn't believe.
But that's scary because there's nowhere to go on a ship.
The light illuminated him for a second. He was stood in the corner and I could fucking see him. I'm telling you, no, there was a fucking guy stood in the corner of that room. I tell you, no. I run back up and everyone knew instantly. Said, "You look like you've seen a ghost, Matt." I was like, yeah. Another thing that happened, I was doing a job with the engine fuel plates and I just put them back in wrong and I knew I'd done it wrong. And something went in my ear, prompting me to do it right. I was like, and I took them back out and put them in right. Something was watching me, prompting me.
Telling you that you were.
Yeah. And about 3-4 times in my life, I've heard it non-audible or audible, if you like, voices that have saved my life.
That's interesting.
Once I nearly walked to my death off of drunk in the morning, and I walked across the hatches, and see the hatch there, the next one was open, and it was just a hole
straight down
where I would have fallen to my death. And I literally put my foot over, and I heard a woman's voice going, "Martin, no!" Fucking snapped me out of it, like my drunken stupor. I looked, my next step was definite death. I literally, like a little wimp, like flopped down and just crawled away like a little kid,
like,
scared, crying. Got to made me ill. I went back to my cabin. I was ill the whole fucking day, just tripping up, ill. Really badly shut me up. And a couple of other times as well. Once when partner was struggling for her life and she was definitely going to die, and I heard a voice say to me, "Martin, it's going to be all right." And then the door opened behind me, a doctor came in and he said, "Martin, a miracle's happened, she's going to be all right." And I was like, "Yeah, I already know."
I know.
And he was like, "What?" And I had a precog dream about a death as well, because the phone, I woke up and the phone call said, "She's going to die." And then literally I woke up and the phone rang, and then I was like, "Yeah, I know, I just heard." Just got told. Happens a few times in the last 3 years. I've had maybe 3 precognitive dreams of the events of the next day, exactly how I seen him in a dream. Freaks me out a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't like question it because it's all supernatural.
It's what it is as well, isn't it? Yeah.
You know, I don't.
Well, it all comes in on your energy, on the electromagnetic. That's what I think. All of that stuff. Yeah. It's just how
they call it the Akashic record, but everything in this place is electromagnetic. We are electrical beings. We're lights, condensed, electrical. Everything, the atom they call, it's just a north and south opposing magnets. Everything is magnets in this place. All is torus fields. We can't see it. Can you see? This is what gets me. Why I was so amazed as a kid by a magnetic propulsion and repulsion. It's like, I can't even push them together, and you can't even see it. You can't even see it.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see it.
Yeah. So that's permeating our reality and through our bodies and everything. And we our brains are electric. If we die, they bring you back with electricity, proving that we are electric.
We said that the other day, weren't we?
Yeah.
So and you can treat people with electric. It's good for you. It's subtle energy of.
You treat yourself, don't you, Tash, with your
it radiates you.
My wire licking.
I talked about the other night sticking my tongue in a plug. Electrocuting myself.
Such a weird taste.
Yeah, it is. It is a weird taste.
Weird taste.
I can't even.
And a weird sensation. You can't even describe the sensation because it's not a shock. It's like a
buzz. It's a buzz. It's not a shock. It's a buzz.
And it tastes like
acidy,
coppery,
maybe.
Coppery. I don't know. Just like how I've never licked copper, but I'd imagine it might.
Well, electric.
Oh, I've licked copper.
Tastes like electric.
Yeah. Tastes like electricity. I haven't tasted it myself.
Would you like me to get an old Atari, what they're called? An adapter.
Licker,
oh yeah, you lick batteries.
I like a tingle on the tongue, but that's as far as I go.
And because of course with they used to have the 4 things on, didn't they? So you'd have the small one. I used to make my brother do the bigger, higher one.
The square one's got quite a hit, haven't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then they do it again and again and again. It's weird. Oh, I like it, but I don't like it.
You like the buzz, Tash. You like that buzz.
I like
that one.
The adapter licking buzz.
Yeah.
They're going to love this video.
How long have we been doing it? Oh, gosh.
An hour and 20 minutes. So we're wrapping this up soon. We do your
it's really long. People won't want to listen to us for that long.
Yeah, they will. They watches me for 3.5 hours. I still have 10,000 people watching. 20,000 even. Each video.
Fuck that.
And I put it out on other channels as well, and they go loads of people.
Wow, you'll be very interesting.
Yeah, you give out interesting information. We just talk about pubes.
But that was really interesting. I've learned a lot here today.
Well, give a different perspective on things, where it is.
And always happy and laughing because everyone's so fucking doom and gloom.
Yeah.
Boring. People are boring.
And doom and
Only
gloom.
boring people are boring. You know that, don't you?
I do,
yeah. But they're so doom and gloom. Everyone loves the fucking
but that's
tragic
the whole program, isn't it? So
every day's an adventure to me.
Absolutely.
I'm proper excited to do stuff.
Look out in bed
see what incredible things I can come.
Were you getting excited about us coming today?
Yeah.
Butterflies. Did you get the last night? Oh, the girls.
I did. I had butterflies.
No, I was last night. It's like, I better go to sleep early because I'm getting up in the morning. I'm
Get to drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to Wales.
I had to get up and clean everything just in case they think I'm smelly man.
We wouldn't do it.
You should see the state of our houses.
Yeah,
We've got really messy houses.
Yeah.
I'm really
I'm not
bad.
going to comment on women's cleaning ability.
Mine's cleaner than it was.
When I was a kid,
Yours is
my
clean at night.
bedroom was the only clean room in the house. The rest of it was like a bomb gone off because my mother was not big with housework or
But I just think it's
cooking.
it's
or
a bit
dishes
of a like housework. You do it once and then you got to do it again.
No, I used to go through there. I couldn't live in. I couldn't live in that. Chaos.
No, not proper chaos. But yeah.
No, mine's not too bad. It's cluttery. I've got stuff in my house.
And it's not anal. That's the difference.
No,
not like an anal cleaning. You know,
I know.
when you go to some people's houses, they won't even have
no.
a jar out. All their sugar and thingy ones are all up in a cupboard.
You know, I wouldn't
Those
go
people.
mental if you didn't coaster your coaster. You know, feeling like a coaster.
Coaster.
So that would just be like no.
Yeah.
You didn't even get to make us our drink.
It's the cat boiled and
We've been here like 3 hours.
no, the coffee's actually made.
I
So,
would.
yeah.
Do you know what? I would put my cup off your coaster if you'd let me.
Yes.
You haven't given me the opportunity.
No, do it. I'll do it now. You can abuse my table.
Right.
We're going to abuse.
We're going to have a cup of tea.
So
Yeah.
make sure to subscribe to these ladies here. Bexage. That's weird. You can't point. to
No.
that.
No, because you're here. Right. So,
Bexage and Tashage.
and when I
And
look at
Bex
you, Bex isn't you because you're here. And
It's
I
very
look proper
confusing.
pale and anemic.
We don't look like that in
Just the
real life.
whites coming through.
I think you're getting the
so
sunlight.
you're quite olivey.
Yeah, you're olive. He's dark skin, guys. Yeah, he's got an olive skin.
He's a hologram. He's a female.
Yeah.
He's a shill. He's a Freemason.
And he's definitely CGI.
Illuminati confirmed.
Oh, and I tell you what he is. He's a reptilian.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll throw that one in.
Shapeshifter.
Definitely. We've seen him, haven't we, Tash? Since
Yeah,
we've
saw
been
him
here.
change. He's gone from a woman to a lizard.
To a tree.
Hippo,
Native
tree.
American
Native
Indian.
tree.
And then you turned into a giant for a bit.
Exactly.
I'll get my eagle feathers off.
Anyway, we're going to go and have a cup of tea.
Okay then.
Hopefully.
Bye, thumbs.
Bye.
Stay epic. See you soon.
See you later.
Make sure to sub.
Is that English or are you speaking Welsh?